Hello everyone, in this video we're going to draw the T-Rex from Jurassic World. Start by drawing a circle as a guide for the head. An easy way to draw a circle is to first make a couple of small marks to indicate the circle's length, and then on the sides make a couple more small marks to indicate the circle's width. Then just connect the small marks using curved lines to finish the shape of the circle. Sketch lightly at first so that it's easy to erase if you make a mistake. Also, pause the video as you follow along to draw at your own pace. Inside the circle, draw a horizontal line for a construction guide. On the bottom right side, draw another circle as a guide for the front part of the body. Draw this circle using the small marks method too. Make this circle about 1.5 times the size of the head circle. To the right and farther down, draw another circle as a guide for the back portion of the body. Make this circle similar in size to the head circle. Place the circles in a diagonal orientation. Under the circle in the middle, draw a long angled line as a guide for the arm. Bend the line near the middle to indicate a joint. At the bottom, bend the line to the right for the fingers. This line should be long in relation to the body. To the left, draw another angled line as a guide for the other arm. Bend the line at the bottom to indicate the fingers. Under the circle on the right, draw another long angled line as a guide for the leg. Bend the line a couple of times in the middle to indicate the joints. At the bottom, bend the line to the left for the toes. Draw a shorter angled line to the left as a guide for the other leg. Under the circle in the middle, draw a short angled line as a guide for the small arm. Bend this line to the left and then curve it down and to the right. Draw a similar line on the left side as a guide for the other short arm. Connect the top circles using short lines to create the guide for the neck. The shape of the neck should be wide. Connect the body circles at the top using a sloping line. On the right side of the body, draw 2 long curved lines as a guide for the tail. Make the base of the tail wide and gradually make it thin and pointy toward the tip. And that's it for the guidelines. Now let's start on the final drawing. Inside the head, lightly sketch a small circle for the eye. Place the eye above the horizontal construction guide and close to the center of the circle. When you get the size and position of the eye right, darken the shape. As you darken the shape, make the sides pointy for the corners of the eye. Inside the eye, draw a small dot for the pupil. Draw a couple of curved lines around the eye for creases. Follow the shape of the eye as you draw these lines. On the top left side of the eye, draw a longer curved line for the bottom edge of the brow. Extend the line far to the left. Higher up, draw a series of wavy lines for the top edge of the brow. Curve this line along the shape of the eye. Lightly sketch a line along the path of the horizontal construction guide for the first part of the mouth. Draw the line for the mouth farther to the right than the eye. When you get the shape of the mouth right, darken the line. Draw the left tip of the line higher up than the right tip. On the left side, draw a line that curves down into the right for the other side of the open mouth. Draw a vertical line on the left side for the front part of the muzzle. Above the mouth on the left side, draw a short, thick line for the nostril. Now draw a series of small pointy shapes along the path of the mouth for the teeth. Draw the teeth directly on top of the line for the mouth. Make the tops of the teeth round and the bottoms pointy. Draw the teeth different sizes. Draw a couple of short lines on the sides of the shapes for the bases of the teeth. Draw teeth on the other side of the mouth too. On the bottom half of the circle, lightly sketch a long sloping line for the first part of the lower jaw. Connect the top of this line to the right tip of the mouth. Draw the bottom edge of the lower jaw along the path of the circle. Curve the line up on the right side. When you get the shape of the jaw right, darken the lines. Use a wavy line as you darken the top edge of the jaw. Make the bottom edge of the jaw flatter than the initial circle. Now draw a series of small pointy shapes along the top edge of the jaw for the teeth. Make the bottoms of the teeth curved and the tops pointy. Make the teeth different sizes. Draw a short line on the right side to connect the jaws. Inside the shape of the mouth, draw a couple of curved lines for the tongue. Draw a couple of short lines at the top to give the inside of the mouth structure. Draw a short vertical line to connect the jaws on the other side. Draw the top part of the head using a long curved line. Follow the basic path of the original circle, but make the top of the head taller. Sketch lightly at first and only darken the line when you get the shape right. The forehead should be big and curved. Darken the guides to the right for the back of the head. Add more wavy lines inside the head to make the brow longer. Add a few short curved lines above the nose for creases. Use the long angled line under the middle part of the body as a guide to draw the arm. First, lightly sketch the shape of the arm around the guideline. Make the top of the arm wide and then gradually make it thinner toward the bottom. At the bottom, curve the shape downward to create the hand. Curve the shape of the arm along the path of the guide to create the joint. When you get the shape of the arm right, darken the lines. Use curved lines as you darken the shape of the arm to give it muscle structure. Draw the top of the arm high up on the body. Make the bottom of the arm thin for the wrist. Make the right side of the shape pointy for the joint. At the bottom, draw a long thin shape that curves to the right for the finger. Make the tip of the finger pointy to create a claw. draw a curved line on the left side for the knuckle on the other finger. Use the short angled line to the left as a guide to draw the smaller arm. Lightly sketch the shape of the arm around the guideline. When you get the shape of the arm right, darken the lines. Make the top of the arm wide and gradually make it thinner toward the bottom. At the bottom, draw a long thin shape that curves to the right for the finger. Make the tip of the finger pointy for a claw. This arm should be similar to the arm on a T-Rex. Use the short line to the left as a guide to draw the other small arm the same way. Draw the shape of the arm around the guideline. At the bottom, draw a couple of long thin shapes that curve to the right for the fingers. This arm should be slightly smaller than the first arm. Use the long line at the bottom as a guide to draw the big arm that's on the other side of the body. Don't overlap the short arms at the top as you draw this shape. Close to the bottom, draw a short pointy shape for the thumb-like finger. At the very bottom, draw a long thin shape for the finger that points backward. Make the tip of the finger thin and pointy for the claw. Use the long angled line on the right side as a guide to draw the leg. Just like with the arms, first lightly sketch the shape of the leg around the guideline. Make the top of the leg wide and the bottom narrow. Curve the shape of the leg around the guide to create the joints. When you get the shape of the leg right, darken the lines. Use curved lines as you darken the shape to give the leg muscle structure. At the bottom, draw a short thin shape for the toe. Make the tip of the toe pointy for the claw. Draw 2 more toes on the left side using curved lines. Draw small triangular shapes on the tips of the toes for the claws. Use the short line to the left as a guide to draw the visible section of the other hind leg the same way. Lightly sketch the leg around the guide and only darken the lines when you get the shape right. Draw a curved line at the bottom to separate the toes. On the tip of each toe, draw a small triangular shape for the claws. Darken the outer edges of the guides to create the rest of the body. Use curved lines as you darken the guides to create the muscle structure. Don't overlap the limbs that are on this side of the body as you draw the underside. Darken the shape on the right side to finish the tail. Now go over the final lines with permanent ink. The next few steps are sped up so that the video isn't too long. Take your time and be careful when you ink your drawing to avoid any accidents. Don't ink the initial guidelines, only the final drawing. When the ink dries, erase all of the guidelines. Make the final lines thicker and darker to emphasize the shapes. Draw wavy lines along the top part of the body for the pattern on the skin. Now color your drawing. Color the main part of the body greenish yellow. Use light colors at first and then gradually add darker colors. Use brown to color the pattern on the top part of the body. Use dark shades to create shadows. Shadows will give the figure more dimension and volume. Use light yellow-green to color the underside of the body. Add shadows on the underside using darker colors. Slowly and gradually add darker colors to emphasize the shapes. Color the inside of the mouth using different shades of brown. Use a bit of pink for the tongue and the segments that connect the jaws. Add a cast shadow at the bottom using gray and a bit of blue. Add a few more lines across the body using ink to create texture on the skin. Coloring can be time-consuming, so be patient and take breaks. And that's it for the D-Rex. Remember to pause the video to draw at your own pace. Also, please visit howtodrawanimals.com for more tutorials. That's how, and then the number 2, then drawanimals.com. If you'd like to support my channel, please consider buying my books on Amazon. I'll leave a link in the description below. Let me know in the comments what else you want to see me draw. Don't forget to leave a like and to subscribe. Thank you for watching, and until next time, keep drawing.